Preema John is a director of Indian Music Experience Museum, Bengaluru. Preema is a critically engaged arts administrator and cultural producer inspired by the power of art to transform individuals and communities. She works across disciplines which focus on public access, public presentation, and reception of art. A Fulbright Fellow, she holds Master in Arts Administration and Cultural Policy from the School of Art Institute of Chicago and Masters in Arts and Aesthetics from Jawaharlal Nehru University. Please share your experience as a director of IMEI across 2.5 years. I know it's quite a huge
Broad question.
experience, yeah. But how has the journey been?
Yeah. For me, the journey has been absolutely wonderful. IME is such a special institution, and when I came to know of it first, I was enormously impressed and very, very happy that such an institution exists. And then when I came and saw the museum, I was completely blown away by how beautifully the museum has been executed. And for me, over the last 2.5 years, it's been a wonderful experience actually heading up this organization, because there isn't any museum like this that exists in India for Indian music. So I was happy to be able to work with a wonderful team here and to really promote Indian music in a way that I don't think any other institution in India is being able to do, given the museum structure of IME.
So, speaking of getting people to the museum, how do you balance between the contemporary and the classical music
Yes.
so that it can attract both the matured and the young crowd?
Okay. So the vision of IME always has been to introduce young people, especially the youth of India. And I would like to expand that to all audiences of India, to the beauty and diversity of Indian music, which is even unimaginable at some level. You know, how vast music is globally, and in the context of India especially, there's so many different kinds of music. There's tribal music, there's folk music, there's regional music, there's film music. The intention always was to give audiences an opportunity to access the history of that music. And when we endeavor to work on promoting Indian music, it's not with the intention of just looking at classical music and say, you know, this is the most important part of our music history. All of it is important. All of it is significant. Each of us, I think, as diverse as our culture is, as individuals and personalities, we are that diverse. So we all connect with different aspects of music. So for us, contemporary music is as important as classical music. And that balance definitely has to be maintained, because classical music all around the world, even in India, the number of audiences definitely are reducing. And the number of young people taking it up as a profession or as a discipline to learn, that is also reducing. So we try to promote that through not just the exhibition and the galleries, but also through our learning center. We actually import music education. So we have classical music courses in Hindustani music, Carnatic music. And in terms of programming, we definitely try to keep a balance, almost I would say a 50-50 balance in terms of presenting not just classical music, but any form of traditional music, whether it's folk, tribal music, Hindustani classical, Carnatic classical, and also contemporary renditions of the same, or contemporary takes that musicians have, whether it's electronic music or different kinds of music that younger people are more involved in. So it's definitely a balancing act.
So you are a Fulbright Fellow. So I would like to know, how has that influenced this in IME, or in promoting or working towards IME?
Yeah. So my experiences, I think, like Indian music and culture, have been very diverse. So I have worked with all aspects of Indian art and culture, and I think that is one thing that deeply informs me personally and also in my work. And the Fulbright Fellowship allowed me actually, perhaps in the middle of my career, when I'd already worked for about 8-10 years, an opportunity to go and study in one of the best museums in the world, or at least what's regarded as one of the best museums in the world, which is the Art Institute of Chicago. And I got to see how a museum which is world class is run. Our school was actually right opposite the museum, so I had full access to the museum. To this day, I've not seen the entirety of the museum. That's the scale of AIC, and I was, of course, at SAIC, and to really learn how culture works from the point of view of diplomacy, from the point of view of policy, from the point of view of non-profit work and for-profit work, and to understand it in an international context. That really, really enabled me and gave me an experience that was unparalleled in terms of what I had academically or professionally experienced so far. So that experience has always informed my work. And in the context of IME as well, that has deeply enabled me to do the kind of work that I want to do and to think of IME not just in a regional context of Karnataka or Bangalore, but in a much larger, broader context of India as a nation and also India within the larger global context. So that experience has really given me that context, which I had worked in before but hadn't really experienced in the way I did through Fulbright.
Yeah. So, if you could share the history of how this museum came into being.
Yeah. So IME opened to the public in 2019, but the project has been in development for many, many years before that. So it took almost 10 years, a decade, and a whole team of people to actually build the institution that it is today. There has been a panel of experts that has worked with the IME team to work on different aspects of Indian music history. So Carnatic music, we had a separate committee. Bollywood music, we had a separate committee. Looking at contemporary music, we had a separate set of experts. So it's really been a team effort. It's also a large, gargantuan endeavor to set up a large scale institution like this. But I think I have to give complete credit to our founder, Mr. M.R. Jayashankar of the Brigade Group, for firstly having this kind of an idea or vision, which is exemplary and visionary in its own way, but to actually stay with the project and to develop it in its entirety and to continue to support it. He was influenced by seeing museums abroad, and the music museums all around the world are rare entities. So IME now and India now is, part of that global network of music museums in the world, and a dedicated set of people. I also have to acknowledge Manasi Prasad, Carnatic musician who was the first and founding director of IME, and also Dr. Suma Sudhindra, well-known Veena exponent, who's also been part of the project. She was also one of the directors of IME, and they both continue to support the museum as trustees now. It was their passion and a much larger team, of course, that really dedicated many years of their life on working on the idea of IME and to bring this very vast ocean of knowledge, of history into 9 galleries and to present that in a way that the public would be able to access and understand. So it's been a long journey for us. We've been now open for about 5 years. The sound garden of the museum and the learning center, where we have about 250 students, that opened first, and then the museum opened. Then, of course, the pandemic hit. So we've had only about 2 full years of operation now. And we've now had over 300,000 visitors coming to the museum in person. And yeah, we're very happy that we're counted as one of the popular destinations and cultural spaces in Bangalore city and India. So yeah.
That's really great. And what's the concept behind this museum?
So, Mr. M.R. Jayashankar, on one of his trips to America, had actually seen the Jimi Hendrix Museum, which is now, I think, called the Museum of Pop, and the Grammy Museum. And IME is actually an official affiliate of the Grammy Museum. We're the only institution in Asia that's an affiliate. And he, being a lover of music, in his mind thought, why isn't a space like this in India set up to celebrate Indian music? And this is also a space, just to give you a context of the location of the space, this is a piece of land that was assigned as a civic amenities space. And the people who are in residential buildings surrounding IME voted to have a museum. So that's one of the reasons why the museum was set up. We are built on a 2-acre plot of land, and the museum is spread across 50,000 square foot of space. And we have the learning center, we have the sound garden, we also have a museum store and cafeteria. And all of this was built over a period of 10 years. Because another thing that happens with cultural institutions is that they cost a lot of money. And funding for an institution is not very easy to come by. So we had to apply for government, central government for grants, for state government grants, and some private donations as well to build up the amount of required funds to set up IME. So that is another aspect that took some time. So like I said, it was about 10 years in development. And 2019, we opened to the public.
So, speaking about your vision, what is your long-term vision for Indian Music Experience Museum?
I think the fact that IME exists in itself is a mission and a vision accomplished. Especially when we look at the diversity of the audiences that we have here, especially the age demographics. We are very, very happy and humbled that we've actually been able to achieve that goal of wanting to have young people access Indian music in a way that's interactive and non-judgmental, and also something that they feel belongs to them. Our primary age demographic in terms of visitors, I would say, is anywhere between 15 and 30 years of age. So that's a huge, huge accomplishment for us. But in terms of what IME stands for, and what IME's role can be in the larger Indian cultural context is much, much wider than that. So our vision is to become the primary institution for music in India, and not just for classical music, but all forms of music. So to become really a cultural institution of great standing, not just with the public, but also with the music community. So that's a larger vision that we're trying to work with, and also to promote a sense of belonging through music, which we seem to have lost a little bit. It didn't used to be like this, but as with anything else, but music is that great connector. I don't think there's anybody in the world who doesn't enjoy some form of music, and when it's shared as an experience, it's even more gratifying. So that's also something that we want to bring back to the world of music.
So, speaking about the future projects of IME, is there any project you're really excited about, or you're looking forward to, or you're planning to?
I'm quite excited about, I think, almost all projects that we work on, because apart from the permanent exhibit or the galleries at IME, we also do a number of projects beyond that, whether it's our community initiatives, especially our work with neurodivergent communities, which we've been doing for the last 4 years, which in many ways is pioneering work in a cultural institution context in India. I'm extremely excited about the future of that project. It is a project called Project Swarita. We also have a young people's project, which we started with the British Council about 4 years back, called Yuva. And from that series, we still have the Youth Advisory Board. And I'm very, very happy to say that IME is perhaps the only museum in India that actually has a very active Youth Advisory Board that I personally take very seriously. They are just below my, board of trustees. It's a board of young people that inform many of the projects and activities that we do at the museum. And we are now in the 4th cohort of that project. So there are several such projects and community initiatives that we do, exhibition ideas that we're working on, which are extremely exciting. Areas of research in terms of musicology, music history that we are wishing to explore, build an archive around. Perhaps the project that I'm most looking forward to, not just from my own personal point of view, but from a public point of view, is the museum music bus project, which we started planning about a year back. It's going to be a museum on wheels in some sense. It's an aspect of our work where we're trying to take IME out of the bricks and mortar institution that we are in JP Nagar in Bangalore, and take it to the wider audiences, especially to the urban and rural population of Karnataka to begin with, to take the beauty of music and to share that with children far beyond what we're able to do in Bangalore. So the music bus project is one that is especially exciting.
Mhm. So you just told that the involvement with music is sort of reducing.
Yeah.
So my question is, with this digitalization of almost everything happening today,
Yes.
do you think people are missing out on these beautiful experiences of maybe music or?
Yeah, there's it's part of our civilizational history. It's not
Mhm.
something that one can say is a bad or a good thing. It's the reality of the world that we live in today. And in fact, the gallery we are in today is looking at the history of music production, where we have, gramophones on display, we have wax cylinders on display, we have audio cassettes, transistors. But as the gallery moves from that age towards digital age, there's nothing for us to show,
Yeah.
because it's all become ephemeral, it's all become digital in one sense. So in that sense, what has happened with music is also our connection of community, whether it's community singing, community gathering.
Yeah.
Even the setting we're in today is actually a drawing room setting of a Bhadralok family in Calcutta, where everybody used to gather around the
Mhm.
gramophone. That sense of listening to music together, listening to radio together, all that has changed. Music has now become, it's on my phone.
Yeah.
I will listen to it in my earphones. It is my music. It's no longer a shared experience in that sense. So
Right.
that's something we're definitely trying to bring back,
Mhm.
because there's also a concept called collective effervescence in
Mhm.
sociology and psychology, which is a feeling when a group of people gather for whether it's a music experience or a dance experience. There's this feeling that comes,
Mhm.
which is not just, it fills you up
Yeah.
in a larger sense of belonging to a larger tribe or a larger humanity, which comes through experiences like music. So, definitely, the digital age has impacted that. It has impacted all of our sense of being social beings, and music is one big way that perhaps we can bring back that sense of belonging.
Yeah.
That is there in all of us, because every time you hear that song from a Kannada film that we all know, or from a Hindi film song that we all know, something
Yeah.
happens in all of us.
Yeah.
So that I think we shouldn't lose as
Correct.
people and as communities of people.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for spending some time with us and sharing your experiences in words. Uh,
absolutely.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you.